we got to add in there our conversation about Project 2025 because we ain't talked about it on the podcast. And all of us on this camera, we have to.
Yeah.
We absolutely have to.
Didn't Taraji do enough?
No. Because you know niggas don't be listening. They were, look.
What is the tea, community? It is me, Luxx Noir London, and I have a question for you. What's brewing today?
Luxx Noir London.
Project 2025.
And Luxx's drag Voltron. So get your cups ready for Minoritea Report. Hey, welcome to Minoritea Report. It's Auntie Carell.
It's Auntie Dwan.
And it's Auntie Jarrell. Hey, community.
Yeah. Ooh. And I mean, obviously, if you're watching YouTube, you already see who's on the screen. But if you didn't read the title of this episode yet, I'm excited for this one. And Dwan and I got the pleasure of meeting this person a few weeks ago. And so we're like, oh, we got to have her on like instantly. But for those that are now listening, it's the fashion girl. And, I'm a little very gagged, as she would say. We have the Luxx Noir, not Atlanta, not New York, not Philly, but the Luxx Noir London is in the place to be.
Hi, everybody.
And you know what? And she's serving fashion in this hot-ass weather out here.
That is very true. I have both the air conditioners on in both of my rooms. Yeah. And it is still like blazing in here, but I have to have on a fur.
I know that's right. That's when you know you're sickening. A bad bitch
for fashion.
Yep. See, look. Mm-hmm. Bad bitch energy. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Because let me tell you, that's not my ministry, baby. So serve, baby, serve all day. For those of us who can't.
Yeah, no, I will wear a fur in 100-degree weather if I had to. Fur, leather, latex, like I love it.
You know what? I'm into some other kinks, but not that one. That's
not the sweaty kink.
Yeah, that's the one kink I can't do.
I hate like the sweat. I hate like the body odor. Like I can't get behind that. No, sorry. Next.
Let me tell you, the last time I said that, girl, I got dragged on the internet being like, some people into it. I'm like, I'm not talking about what y'all shouldn't be doing. That part. Look,
I'm me.
Everything ain't for everybody. You right.
That is true.
I mean, I might like a little sweaty moment here and there, but not today.
Like a little subtle like essence of someone's natural scent is like nice. But I don't want you to smell like you just ran like a marathon. Like no.
Not past the expiration date.
It gives like especially if they're of like a certain race, like white people, like they smell horrible when they sweat. So,
look, I've said on this podcast plenty of times, white people to me smell like bologna and wet potato chips. So, like, it just.
But not all of them. But like, as most of them, I frequent the like Brooklyn like nightlife scene, and it's not a very fragrant place. Let me just say that.
It is a fragrant place, just not
but for the wrong reason. But this is not going to come to a shock to anybody. I tweet about this all the time. I would be like, oh, I'm going to Metro. Make sure if y'all are coming, bring your deodorant. Because like that, I don't.
That's why we tell people to wash their hands, their legs, and their ass.
Very true.
We say that every episode.
Yeah.
Please do. Especially if you're going to be out here in these jock straps like you're at Daddy Land or something. Oop, too soon. Oh, too soon. My bad. Anyway. Luxx, and so absolutely, So a few weeks ago, Dwan and I, and we missed Jarrell there not being there, but we were at Curiositea, and so we were in the step and repeat line, and Luxx was behind us, and I was like, I gotta say something because
we might need to explain what step and repeat is.
Well, where you get you step there, they take the little pictures, you step to the next person, they take the little pictures.
I just learned probably a week and a half ago why they call it a step and repeat. I did not know why, but you step and then you just repeat the same thing. I didn't know that.
Literally.
Yeah, there's usually
I have no idea.
People interviewing and you just step to the right or step to the left and the next interview.
It's almost like the cha-cha slide.
Yes.
I had no idea. I was like gagged.
But not a lot of our listeners might have known what that is. So they were like, "Step and repeat, is this?
What you step and repeat that? Right, double touching.
We got a lot of people from Indiana that are dialing in. And,
damn, you gonna do Indiana that way?
Don't do Indiana. You better stick to Ohio.
Ohio too. They can catch that smoke.
You said all of them.
Yeah. You're not in New York.
But anyway, Luxx was behind us, and I was like, "Oh my God, Dewan, her wig is everything right now." I was like, "I gotta tell her." And again, like we always say, like we are like ourselves everywhere. Like even if we don't know nobody, we're like, "Hey, boo,"
right?
And so we're like, "Hey, I love your wig," and she said, "What wig?" I was like, "I know that's right, bitch."
It's like, yes, what wig? Because like, if I'm wearing human hair, like it's not a wig. Like that's just my hair. But I'm also the person who made the wig, their name is What Wigs. Like that's their brand.
Get out.
So it's
oh wow.
So it's like a 2 for 1.
Yeah.
It was everything. It was like this orangey. Had like a little hints of like almost like blondies kind of in it.
It was like an auburn kind of like moment.
Yeah.
Everything. It was everything.
And it was really nice because just the juxtaposition of just how beat your face was and how beautiful your hair was, and then to have that blazer with like your chesticles all out. That was a moment. That was a moment.
And the boot on with her broken
foot. And I did have the boot. Which
I wasn't even going to bring that up. See,
I got out of the boot, I think, a week after that. And I was just like, oh, if we only had a week, I could have actually served something like really sickening. That was really sickening though. I love a pants moment, especially like an oversized pants moment, because like the juxtaposition of like the feminine and the masculine, but like what is that? Everything. That's very me.
And here's another thing I didn't say in the moment, but I thought this it sense. We know quite a few drag queens, and not everybody looks like themselves in person. Looks look like themselves in person. That face was mugged. I'm like, okay, bitch. And then B, you smelled good too. And I didn't want to be that creeper, but like, you smell good.
Thank you. I think that day I was probably wearing ombre leather by Tom Ford. That's kind of my go-to fragrance at the moment. Probably mixed with, a fan gave me this perfume, and it's from I think Saudi Arabia or something like that, and because they're from Saudi Arabia, and they were like, oh my God, whenever I see you next, I have to give you this perfume. So they DM'd me, and I was like, oh yeah, I will be there tonight, and they gave me the perfume. It smells so good.
Yeah,
it's like tobacco, it's like floral. I love that.
It was delicious, whatever you had on. But I was like, okay, I already done bugged her enough. She's probably like, shut the hell up.
No, besides, like, you would have given me my 2 favorite compliments. You look how you look online in person, and you smell good. Those are my 2 favorite compliments ever.
Hey, and I meant it. Because we don't say that to everybody.
Call it a wrap. That's all. Right. That's all it is. Mission accomplished.
Because there's already one that I'm thinking in my mind, the one that I'm like, ooh, they don't look like themselves in person. And you know what I'm talking about.
I can name a couple.
It's like, say their names, but no, we won't go there. That's rude. No, we won't go there. But so coming out of Pride Month, how are you feeling? Like I know, like with the broken foot and kind of navigating that month, like it's probably a lot. Like, how are you feeling coming out of that month? I feel
fine. I don't know. I don't really think about things to be like things like that, especially like to be difficult. I kind of adapted it to like, okay, this is my way of life for the moment. So I might as well I can't heal my foot like miraculously, so I might as well just go with that. Complaining about it isn't gonna fix it. So
come on now,
you kind of just adapt to it and make it work. It was very annoying in the beginning when I first broke my foot. I like in my head had this idea that I'd like never walk again, which was not the case at all. The doctor was like, "You'll be fine. It's gonna heal." But in my it just feels like forever, and it just felt like I would like never walk again. I was like, I'll never perform the same. Like my everything is going to change after this. I was like, I can't walk in heels. Like that broke me. That's what really broke me. It wasn't the fact that I wouldn't be able to walk. It was the fact that if I was in drag, I would not be able to wear heels. My favorite part of life is shoes.
Yes.
And also appreciate love that mentality as well too. Like that's something that a lot of people I feel may not have the skill to be able to be like, hey, this is my reality for now. This isn't my reality forever. So I can let it, have the worst of I can have the worst experience right now. I can make the most of it in this moment. And I appreciate that, because let me tell you, I hate to be inconvenienced, especially when it comes to my body.
It's my least favorite thing in the world, actually. Like when I first broke it, I was just laying in bed for like the first couple days, and I was kind of just like, I would just wake up, like to wake up in your bed and not be able to like leave your bed. Like that seems like such like I wish I could not leave my bed for a day, but to not be able to leave my bed for a day against my will was the worst possible feeling, because I just wanted to get up to like go like turn on the light, and I would have to sit there in the dark until somebody came and turned on the light for me. I was in the living room, but it was like up until like a couple of days, then I was like, okay, I can't stay in the living room. I have to go back.
You said, turn the lights on.
I was like, I have to go back.
Have one of those. Didn't have one of those.
No, and I hate that I don't. I need to like. I don't. Is that still a thing? Clap on, clap off.
It's called like your iPhone. Just click the
wait, really?
The smart feature on your phone. Yeah, you can get like smart gadgets and turn your lights on for your phone.
Yeah, you get.
I need to get into that, because I'm sorry. I don't.
All you need are those Philips light bulbs.
My least favorite thing is having to get up and turn the lights off, like when I'm in bed, because I'll be so comfortable and I'll be like, I could just go to bed right now, and then I'm like, but I have to get up and turn the lights off, and then I'm gonna get all this energy like when I get up.
Oh, look, the way I be like this, Alexa, office off. Bitch be off. Okay, technology. Let me tell you, we live.
I love that.
Alexa.
Come on, AI.
Because I'm with you too, Lex. If I get out of bed to turn the lights off, I'm up.
Yeah,
I didn't lost my sleep. Yeah. I didn't lost my sleep.
I like need to go to sleep as soon as I'm tired. I like have to drop everything and be like, okay, I'm done.
Do you fall asleep like right away, or does it take you like a minute to like? Really...
No, it takes me a minute. That's why I have to like kind of like how you will try to like exhaust a baby to put them to sleep. It's kind of like that, or like a dog. Like I need to like be exhausted to fall asleep on an instant, because the way like. I can think, like, I can be going to sleep and I can think about one thing, and I'll wake up and I'll be thinking about that one thing. Like, not even something that's, like, nagging at your brain. Like, I could just have, like, an idea, and I have to get up and I have to, like, write it down. And then I'm, like, fleshing out an entire, like, album.
You are ready to plan the whole rest of the year out. You were like, so in 2025 in February, I'm going to be on a boat. Like,
that's literally how it works. Most of my creations happen like when I'm about to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like literally, my voice notes, like you'll hear me like groggy, literally spitting out the idea so I don't forget.
Yeah,
because like I can't even like get it out and like typing fast enough sometimes. So I
like to write things lately. I like to like write things down.
Okay.
Because I feel like when you put the pen to paper, it like develops into something different, I think, than tapping it in your phone.
Yeah. And I know we're kind of jumping around here, but some of the things that you're writing down, maybe lyrics for your album that we're still waiting on.
Musically,
yes. I have a couple things in the. When is this coming out? It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm releasing an album in a couple months. There's some very exciting collaborations on this album, but I'm very excited. I'm in a very good place creatively. And I'm channeling a lot of my like crazy, and I say crazy in every essence of the word, like crazy creative, like psyche energy into this music. I feel like I'm becoming like a different person through like figuring out like all of this like stuff, like how I want to like market it and how I want to like approach it and how I want to like live in the music. I feel like it's kind of turning me into a different like being. I feel like my focus was very like, okay, I'm a drag queen, but I like want to make music. And now I feel like I'm shifting into like, I'm a musician who is a drag queen, or like I'm a musician who just happens to like be in drag. I feel like the lines between like myself out of drag and Luxx are getting more blurred throughout the day. Not even from like a gender standpoint, but more of just like
who you
a
are,
character.
Persona.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like the lines are more like I feel like sometimes when I go out dressed up out of drag, I feel more Luxx than I do sometimes when I'm in drag. Or I
That's
feel
a
like
cool feeling,
sometimes I wanna go out just to do day-to-day stuff as Luxx, but sometimes I wanna be Luxx but not be Luxx. Like it's weird. I don't know. But I think
I
that
definitely get
through figuring out everything for this album and writing all of the music and like coming up with all the concepts and shooting everything and like just having all of my focus for the past couple months being my music, I feel like it's kind of transforming me from less of a drag queen and more of like a musician who is just wearing drag.
But isn't
Now,
that the beautiful thing about being a creative? And
Yeah.
because I think what I've experienced and what you see around you is that you no longer have to fit within one kind of category or one
Yes.
kind of box. And as a creative, oftentimes you start out kind of with one mindset. And as you really dig into your own creativity and explore what it can really do, there's an evolution that happens. I mean, we've seen this for a millennia in terms of anyone that was an artist or makes music, and you see their evolution as a creative. But even more so today, it's stepping outside of the bounds of just the one category of I'm this or I'm that, or I'm this or I'm that. And that makes it really interesting because it means that there's no limit to who you can be as an individual and how you can express yourself and how people can receive you, which is pretty cool.
How people can receive you is a very receive and perceive you are two things that have been like clicking in my mind very lately. Is how do I want people to receive what I'm giving them but also perceive me as the artist. And I think that I in my head, but like when I was younger, I always just wanted to be like a pop star, or I just wanted to be famous. I wanted to be famous, but I always envisioned myself a famous pop star. Whether or not I had the confidence to want to sing or make music, I was just like, I'm going to be famous. But the way I saw myself being famous was being a pop star. But then that kind of got convoluted into be like, okay, well, drag is going to be the gateway. But I think that it's not drag. I just think that drag is the vessel for my music. And I think that drag is kind of like the costume that I wear. It's kind of like Beyonce with Sasha Fierce, or like
1000.
Lady Gaga, like Stephanie versus Lady Gaga. Like Lady Gaga is a character that catapulted her to fame. Like when she was just some like brunette girl, like singing in clubs, like she wasn't getting, people weren't paying attention until she dyed her hair blonde and started really showing like the creative parts of like her mind and like was really developing a character. People love a character. People love a brand. People love a thing that's tangible. But I think the problem with drag is that anytime I'm in drag, people are just going to see me as Luxx the drag queen because everybody dresses like a drag queen. So I can't, at this point, I can't do anything to stand out more than a regular pop star because I'm already the extreme. So I think that at the moment now I'm trying to kind of figure out how I can twist my drag into doing the counterculture thing of drag, which people think that drag is more. But I think that at the moment I'm trying to figure out how to make my drag less, but not make me less
but make
of
you invisible.
A drag queen or make me invisible. I'm trying to play with, I've been doing a lot of studying of like, I've been like doing a lot of studying of how people think and how like what triggers reaction and what gets people talking. And I kind of do all those things already as a drag queen. And I've been studying what has brought other people success, people who I look at as like beacons of like inspiration, like RuPaul and Lady Gaga. There was nobody dressing like Lady Gaga or making music like Lady Gaga. But now that everybody does it, Lady Gaga was like doing drag to everybody.
1000%.
And now that drag is in the mainstream, it's like, well, fuck, what do I do? Can I curse? It's like, what do I do to like trigger people's minds to say, oh, this is something that's interesting or different or weird? because now we've been exposed to so many things, nothing is interesting or different or weird anymore.
That wow factor has become harder to have because of that whole mainstream that you just mentioned. Yeah.
But I also think that people have become incredibly simple-minded, and I think that that it is, and I don't say simple-minded like dumb. I just think that
that too, though.
Yes, people are
that.
very stupid. Two things can be true at once.
Right.
But I definitely think that society has kind of tailored itself to consume things in very quick whips and like short form things like TikTok and stuff. Like people aren't watching, well, now people are, which is weird, but people stopped watching like movies and like television. People were getting their entertainment from like 6-second videos on the internet. So I think that people have been conditioned to see things that are very like bright, flashy, and quick. Mm-hmm. And I think that I've been figuring out how to grab people's attention.
Break that down.
Like that.
Can I share an observation? Just a personal observation. I don't think the word drag really suits you, because I feel like it's limiting.
Yeah.
Did you say you just said limiting at the same time?
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, is that an echo? But this is not like any kind of like low key shade or anything like this. But I don't think that the word drag, like obviously what you're doing is drag, but I feel like there's something in between the word, and I don't think that we've evolved our language enough to really kind of characterize it, because drag has meant one thing for so long, and what we've seen is drag evolve, from female impersonation, which was where it had its roots, and and that, to much more of a creative expression of a persona. And there are variations in between, depending on who's doing what. But I feel like your presentation, how you present to the world, is not 100% drag in the drag sense, but it is more of a persona. So hearing you talk about your evolution as a creative, and kind of coming into this new era of the blending of these identities that you possess, is just fascinating, because it just shows how limiting our language is right now to really capture who you are and how you're presenting and how people are receiving you, above and beyond just this one category that is all we have right now, which is drag.
I think that's very true, because you have artists like Prince and like David Bowie and like Sylvester. These are all people who kind of had like
how old are you, and how do you know Sylvester? Because I'll be talking to people and nobody. That is
I'm 24,
like an
but
icon.
I have this thing where I like see one thing about something and I like deep dive into it. I think that's why I know so much, because when I was younger, I used to like just like read everything and like study everything. And I'm fortunate that I grew up in the age of like the boom of technology. Like technology was a thing from like if we're really speaking, technology has been a thing since the 60s. But it's like the boom of like using technology as an instrument to learn, or using technology as an instrument to like see other things besides like having accessibility
technology.
Besides like having a phone to like text someone, or like having a computer to like go to a website. Like I grew up when people were like, I grew up in the boom of like YouTube and like Google, like I didn't grow up in the boom of Google, but like Google was at its peak when I was using the internet. So it's like I had this like new crazy thing in front of me where I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch YouTube videos all day. And I literally would sit on my computer all day, like literally sun up to sundown, just watching YouTube videos and Googling things and looking at pictures of stuff and like reading like stuff online. And like I would like literally just spend hours. Like I would like just research so many things. And I think that's where like my Rolodex of like knowledge and reference comes from, because I also had a very like creative family. Like I had an aunt who I like, she's like still here. Like I have an aunt who is like very like pop culture centric. Like we would like go to the grocery, like when we would go to the grocery store, like we would like read magazines together, or we would like watch all of like the award shows and things. And I think that she's a big proponent to why at an early age I saw celebrity as this goal that I wanted, because
an attainable
goal. But I was just like, oh, I could, like, I grew up like in the, like, I keep saying I grew up, but like people were just getting famous by being on the internet, like when I was like growing up. So I was like, oh my God, like they're saying Justin Bieber became Justin Bieber because he posted a YouTube video. I was like, there are so many things that I can do to become famous. And I think
do you have a first, like almost like memory of that? Like, was it a certain celebrity? Was there a certain YouTuber? Was there a certain whomever that you're like, oh, I want to do that?
It has to be, it's Lady Gaga. And it's not even a thing of, because like I'm such a like fan of hers. Like she is very evidently a huge inspiration and influence in all of my work. Like like, and I'm sure, I know she knows this, but it's like, and if she, I would hope that like people don't see it as me like copying her, but like I kind of am. Like she's the blueprint for me. Like I'm like, I love that woman. Like she's done so much for me, and I just like, she came into my life at such a pivotal point of my like transformation as like a child to like a teenager with like emotions and feelings and like wants and needs and drive. Like I saw her and I was like, she's the pinnacle of success to me. I was like, there is in my head not a more successful person than Lady Gaga, because her story just resonated with me. Like her, like the way, seeing people talk about Lady Gaga the way they talked about her, and having people talk about me the way they talked about me when I was in like elementary school and middle school. I was just like, she's me. I was like, this is what I see. Like I see myself as her. So I think that when I first started drag, I was like, oh, well, Luxx is a celebrity. So like, I'm going to be Luxx, but I'm never going to like talk about myself as if I'm like not a superstar or I'm not at the top of my game, even though I knew I was poor, had bad makeup, and like, well, it was never bad, but I had like not like amazing makeup. I didn't have any gigs. I was too young to go to a club. But I was like, Luxx is famous. So Luxx, everything that Luxx does is going to be through the gaze of someone who is famous. And now I am famous. So I guess I was doing something right. But I never even really considered myself like a local queen. I remember I got into a kind of heated discussion with my boyfriend one time because he tried to say that I was an amateur drag queen. And I was like, I'm not an amateur because I'm good at what I do. And then he was like, yeah, but in terms of like your experience, you are an amateur. And I was like, well, no, because in my head, amateur means skill set, not experience. I was like, you can, and I still go by this mantra till this day. Experience does not develop a star. You are born. I think that people are born famous. It is up to the person to channel it and to do something with it. I walk past so many people on the street where I had like the balls to walk up to somebody and just be like, you need to like be like a model, or like you need to like be an actor or something like that. There's so many people you can just feel like they just have like an energy. They just have the X factor, and it's literally can just be some random person walking down the street and I'm like, you are famous and you don't even know it.
One of the things that I first recognized about you when I was introduced to you through Drag Race was how fully realized you were, and the confidence that came from that just exuded from you was, it wasn't an act. And there's a lot that you can tell through the television, and that is just a rarity, because there are so many people that come in our space, whether it's through the screen of the television, through our phones, through regular lives, and there's something very I'm struggling with the word, but you can just tell when somebody has exactly what you're saying, which is the it factor. And from the moment that I saw you, and I'm sure you probably get this quite a bit, I could
She's
tell.
Like, yes,
that
but say it again. Thank you.
I'm going to say it. I could tell that there was just an exuberant amount of self-assurance, self-confidence, self-awareness, and conviction about who you are and how you want to present and how you want to engage that not a lot of people have. You know, there's a fake it till you make it kind of a thing that a lot of performers, not just drag individuals, but performers, creatives, and regular people have, that it takes them a very long time to settle into who they are to get to where you were way back then. So the fact that that was already your foundation before you even walked through the door, and the fact that you've been able to channel this to where you are today is just absolutely incredible. And
the work. Because like some people have the it but don't want to work because they got the it, and I think that's truly like the differential piece of it. It's just like, you know what, I know I got the it, but I'm willing to still work to improve and carve and evolve, and that's why we all know my diva's Beyonce, but that's why I still love about Beyonce. Like, she's still putting in the fucking work, you know, and
a lot of work.
Seriously, and it's there, and you see it. So that's what I enjoy with you, because I'm like, okay, she has the it thing, but she's still putting in the work, and she's still learning, and she's still being influenced and be like, okay, I'm influenced this way, but how can I put it out this way in my own way? So that's the cool shit to me that I think makes you stand out more than any other it's out there.
And that's true, because all the real divas will tell you they pull inspiration from other divas, right? Like, it's as much as we want to say like this is Beyonce. Beyonce will tell you real quick. She'll lift off Tina. She'll list off all the other girls as well and be like, 1, 2, 3,
Diana.
4. Where the people that I listen to, and that's where I draw information from. You know, she'll quickly say Michael, you know, this, and Tina this. So the fact that you have, you know, the right inspiration of divas to pull from that still connect to who you are and allow you to still, or not allow you, but helps you to be able to still be the best version of yourself with that inspiration. Because like Dewan said, some girls will fake it, and that's how you know when it's not real, because it's hard to sustain when you're being fake and phony. But when you being yourself, it's not work. You just living. You exist and you walking in your purpose when it's you. But when you put on the mask, girl, you gotta, it's work to take it off, and it's work to put it back on.
Yeah. I'm this person, like, Luxx would be the same person if I was, like, wearing, like, nothing. Like, I would be this, like, I don't put anything on to, like, be like, okay, now I'm, like, getting into character. It's, like, this, like, you can ask anybody, like, I have been like this, like, for, like, you can ask any of my friends who knew me before I was even doing drag. Like, I've been like this for literal, like for the longest. It's like that's just who I am. I went on Drag Race, and I was just like, okay, this is just who I am. You can watch my audition tape. I was the same. I was talking exactly how I talk in the confessionals. You can watch all 4 of my audition tapes, and they are all kind of the same exact tape, same exact answers. I just look very different in each one. But yeah, I didn't go on the show trying to like fake any confidence or anything. It's just is what I like. I just have that. I don't know. Especially with drag, like my persona and my creativity and my art. At the end of the day, like it is the kind of the only thing that I have complete 100% ownership of. So I'm going to have so much faith in this, especially if I'm putting all of my eggs in this basket that is RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm going to go into that scenario knowing that I have everything that it takes to win, because I know how mentally exhausting it is to be a creative. Like for me, like I don't think I have done anything ever in my entire life that is more mentally taxing and exhausting than creating something or being a creative person. People think that artists, like all they do is paint, or all they do is draw, or they do is sew, or all they do is come up with something. And it's just as hard as a job as being an athlete. It's not mentally as taxing. Sometimes it is. I feel like sometimes I am an athlete, but it's like the mental willpower that it takes to sit there and come up with an idea or have an idea that you have fall through, or like to sit there and like think of something literally from a thought to a physical thing. It's like I like look at some of the stuff in my closet and I'm like, I like thought of like, I sat there and I sketched it and I picked out all the fabric and I like made sure like every hem was right and I made sure every single thing was right. That's weeks and weeks and weeks of focus on one little thing.
Yeah.
Until
just
like,
to have people be like, you look like shit.
Yes, like I was like, I could go on Drag Race and I could spend all this money and spend all this time crafting these looks, and people will hate them, like some of them do. But y'all, people can't deny that I absolutely ate all the looks. But it's like,
they can't deny.
But it's like, it's like it's my child. It's like you're raising you're creating something from the ground up and you're spitting it out. I've had like weeks where, especially creating this album has been the most stressful time of my life creatively, because I am kind of just in a million different places at one time. So one day I wake up and I'm like, I hate all of it. I want to scrap it all and I want to start over and I want to push the date back and I want to like scrap the photo shoots and I want to scrap all the ideas and I just want to like start new, or I'll like listen to a song and I'll be like, no, I want it to sound like this, or I want it to feel like this. Yeah. And then you're just back to square one. But then you kind of just have to trust your intuition and you're like, okay, I had this idea for a reason and I fleshed it out for a reason. If it was not the thing, it would not have been this far in the process. So sometimes you just kind of have to push it out, and if it sticks, it does, and if it doesn't, you just create something new. It's free.
I'm curious, at 24, because like I'm 40, you know, I might not look it, but I'm 40. And I remember the first drag queen that I ever saw was Rue.
Same.
And I'm curious at 24. Okay, so it still is Rue is like the first, even at a younger generation, that Rue is still like that bitch that, nope, Rue's the first one I saw. And it's not like a Naomi or Bianca or something like that. It was
fully like Naomi Smalls, I feel, is the reason I started drag.
Okay.
And I feel like I've told her this, or she's like heard me say this somewhere. But Naomi Smalls for sure is the reason I started doing drag. But I will say that my two biggest drag influences are RuPaul and Lady Gaga, because RuPaul is the number one drag queen at the top of her game. Why wouldn't that be my number one influence? If I want to be the most famous drag queen in the world, why would I not want to?
Why learn from number two?
Why would I not take inspiration from the top person in the business? In my head, Lady Gaga still is to me the most famous person in the world. Like, to me, like in my heart, I know she's not, but like in my head, like there will never be another Lady Gaga for me. Like, she's my ultimate. So I was like, okay, well, in the drag sense, I would want to be RuPaul, but in the superstar sense, I would want to be Lady Gaga. So those are my two. And then like I of course have my drag influences, but RuPaul was the first queen. I was like, okay, I want to do that.
Then who were some of your influences then?
Naomi Smalls for sure, Aquaria. There is one, but I cannot say who she is for the sake of it. It was a different time. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I love Willem, Dita Ritz. I like Alaska. Oh my god, like Alaska is like the one for me. Like I love
Alaska
her.
Thunderfuck.
Yeah, I'm so like gagged that like I can like I like texted Willem the other day.
You did an Alaska look now. Think about it, right? Didn't you?
For the season 15
finale or whatever.
Finale viewing. And that look was very intentional, because I was getting a lot of shit for like always referencing other people. Whatever that means. Like drag, that's what drag is. Idiots. Like,
it's like
y'all aren't going to say like Chad Michaels is referencing Cher too much. Like, Chad Michaels does Cher, like that's her reference. But enough about that. I really wanted to play into the idea that people thought that I was referencing too much, so I wanted to reference on reference on reference. I wanted to reference Alaska losing season 5, because I already know I lost season 15 because we filmed it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this reference on top of this
like
reference.
The
and then
of it.
at the time, like Bud Light was doing all of that like BS, being like the whole Bud Light situation.
Yeah.
And then Alaska was holding a can of Miller Lite on the season 5 finale viewing red carpet. So I was like, okay, I'll do a can of Bud Light because it's topical, it's political, it's current. And I was just like referencing someone losing RuPaul's Drag Race, watching myself lose RuPaul's Drag Race, where her iconic moment is her wearing this, watching herself lose RuPaul's Drag Race. To me, I was just like, that's the look.
Absolutely.
So I texted Alaska and I was like, can I do this? And she's like, yeah, I fully give you like full permission to do it. So I was like, okay, full throttle, we're doing it. That's dope. People were gagged. Like the people like running the thing were like, what is she wearing? Why is she wearing a trash bag? It was very like 2000 in my head. It was very 2010 VMAs Lady Gaga like meat dress moment.
And that's what we need back again. That's what I want LG7 to be. Meat dress Gaga. I need more meat dress Gaga.
I love when Lady Gaga is super like creative and weird and wacky and like shocking and spectacle, but also I do realize that she is a woman in her late 30s and she kind of just is evolving into a different artist. I personally, because I'm not one of these like weird stans who wants things for like validation and like, oh, I can put Lady Gaga against your fave. I still see all of that true Lady Gaga essence in everything she does because I was there with Gaga before she was meat dress Gaga. Mm-hmm. Like I was there when Lady Gaga was just wearing like blazers and like different colored tights and like
and torn up stockings, right?
Yeah, like I was there when she was just like wearing like random like 80s like glam rock clothes, and then she kind of transformed into this like
she got some coin.
She got some money. Honestly, she was like she would wear the same I think like 5 or 6 outfits like repeatedly because like that's all she could afford, and she like spent all the money that the record label gave her on like vintage like Versace and Chanel and stuff until fashion houses like paid attention to like, oh look, this girl is really stylish, and then they wanted to start dressing her, and that's how she kind of got her catapult into being like a CFDA fashion icon award-winning musical artist.
No, that's right.
So you better talk that shit. You better talk that shit for Gaga. So it's like I know that's right.
So it's like when, in my head when I'm spending thousands of dollars on designer clothes, in my head I'm like, it'll all work out later because somebody will notice that I'm not just some drag queen wearing like spandex house like stretch costumes. That I like am studying and like wanting to purchase like
say their names.
Things.
Say their no, just man.
They know who they are. That's every drag queen. Like I pride myself on collecting fashion. That's like what I want to do. I like want to collect like vintage archival pieces eventually, and like have like an archive of.
And all drag matters too. There's a spectrum of drag, so I don't want people to be in the comments to be like, Carell,
As a drag queen, I am saying that in my head, there is some drag that needs to stay an idea. Every drag queen does not need to be on a stage.
I agree.
The same way every singer does not need to have a microphone or a record deal.
That's
it's
true.
like,
That's
I don't know why people think that drag is the only art form that's exclusive to like people just being able to be mediocre. Because if you would critique a singer on them not having stage presence or them being inauthentic, why do drag queens who are also creatives and are supposed to be on an equal playing field not subject to said critique? I don't know. Yeah. I say this with my chest. You can come for me if you want. Every drag queen does not need to do drag.
I agree.
It's like there's some people where they've been doing it for years and they still look the way they look. I think that
we saw some.
I was gonna say something.
Don't do it, Dewan. Don't do it.
I do think that there's a point where you have to wake up and smell the roses and say, "This is not working for me. I need to quit."
Yeah,
I would. There's tons of things in my life. That is true, but
that is all that they
we
got.
We also need sanitation workers. We need people to work the polls at election. We need people.
That's a key one.
That is true. We need retail workers. Like there's so many other ways to create that does not involve you being the vessel for the creativity.
I'm curious about your Blackness and your identity and how has that influenced the person and the persona that you present today, even as you're moving into your musical career and exploring that. How has that shown up? And the reason I asked that question is because there are, just like you said, Naomi Smalls was, one of the big reasons that you got into drag. There are undoubtedly, boys and girls and everyone in between that have looked at you and saw you present and say, I want to do what she's doing. I've got the goods. I'm going to follow her. And so I'm curious, in a world where you don't see a lot of brown and black faces, at least in
At
these
the
kind
upper
of
levels.
these kind of stages.
Yeah.
How has it shown up for you?
And as like weird as this may sound, I almost am never taking the fact that I'm black into consideration with a lot of things that I do. I mean, that's always because I think that's it's very blatantly obvious that I'm black. I don't think I need to like everything I say has to be like, oh, and also I'm black. It's like, yeah, girl, we have eyes, it's like, but I take it with, I don't ever want to, and I've said this since the beginning, I am not doing anything that I do to necessarily say that I want to be a voice for, or I want to be this beacon of light for this. I love that people take inspiration from seeing me, but I never want my message to be, I am the beacon, because I think that's setting yourself up to be the one thing that is, this is the goal, leads for so much disappointment. Because if I was to just quit tomorrow, then they're going to be like, oh, Luxx, you are our one. And it's like, I don't want to be that for anybody. I think that people, I want to show people that you can look inside of yourself and get it. You don't have to get that from anyone else, especially because I'm someone who did get a lot of it from other people, because I just grew up in an environment where I didn't see people like me all the time. But I also was not searching for it. I think I'm a little different because I was not necessarily searching for community, or I was not searching for representation, because in my head I was just going to get that for myself. It was great to see Lady Gaga be somebody who I felt had a very similar story to mine come up and be great, and see her as a beacon of light. But I don't think I ever put the pressure on my own mental, or use her as like Lady Gaga is the catalyst for my creativity, or Lady Gaga is the catalyst for what I want to be. I just kind of saw myself in her. I was like, okay, work. But if her message was never self-acceptance, I would have still accepted myself more, because I saw her. She's just someone who's very vocal about that. And I am too. I want everybody to love themselves, but I don't want to be the reason why you love yourself. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because to me, it takes it a step further, and it challenges people to be what they need for themselves, right? And not be dependent on someone else being able to fill their cup. Because what happens when they aren't there? What happens when they let you down? Then the essence of or a part of your identity becomes lost, right?
I would feel so much, sorry, not to cut you off, but I would feel so much immense pressure on myself if I was marketing myself as, I want to be the voice of a generation, or I want to be a beacon of hope for someone. If I am, throughout the process of me just being myself, and I would love if people saw the way that I like wear my regalia of myself in the world, and saw that as a beacon of hope. But I never want to be like, I'm doing this for you, because if I were to ever when I let someone down, they're going to be like, Luxx let me down. But in my head, if I never said that I was there to lift you up, I can't let someone down.
Yeah. I never said I was going to pick your ass up.
I'm sure that sounds very like narcissistic, or very self-absorbed, but that's always been my outlook. I never wanted to be like I never wanted to be the poster child for like Black success.
And the truth is, you don't have to. The truth is, like, that's not everyone's outlook, right? Like, not everyone has to be everything for everybody else. It's okay to be enough just for who you are, and exist within your own self, and move for you, by you. And if other people find that inspiring, that's just a plus. But the intent is just to exist and live the best life for you, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't want this to get misconstrued as like, I am so honored that there are people out there who see me and take inspiration from that, or see me as a beacon of hope or light. Like, I'm so appreciative when people come up to me and tell me that. That is like like few things get me emotional. That is something that will get me emotional. And I don't ever want it to seem like I'm not grateful for that. I am just saying that that's not my motive. That's not my goal.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be like the next like Martin Luther
Which is
King.
to me, which is authentic.
I just want to wear clothes and sing.
Because if you were trying to do that for people, to me that comes across as like a gimmick, right? Like you're marketing, you're trying to be something for other people, and that's not you, right? So I get it, and I appreciate
like
it.
My gimmick is not being a self-help book. No.
I'm here for it.
I'm gonna tell you, you know, people who take issue with, you know, kind of like conversations like this, it says more about them and their own insecurities and where they're showing, how they're showing up in the world versus the person that they're aiming all of that weight onto. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, and, you know, while I appreciate, you know, you kind of putting the disclaimer that, you know, like out there, the reality of it is that as humans, we are only responsible for ourselves. And we've been told and conditioned, you know, as sheep, if you will, you know, to follow the trends, to follow these leaders, to follow these types of behaviors, and shuck and ignore your own personal ambitions. A lot of us, I'm not saying everyone. So I appreciate people who stand on their own convictions and who live life authentically as themselves, because when you start living for someone else or as someone else, that is the antithesis of authenticity.
Yeah. And the people that fucked it up too are the people with the microphone who are out there deliberately being hurtful and disrespectful and all sorts of, you know, phobias, whether it's homophobic or any of those. Like, those are the people who mess it up for the people who are actually saying, no. It's not saying I don't care about other people. I'm just here within myself. And I'm not intentionally out there trying to harm other people. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I definitely, and I definitely do a lot of the things that I do for my fans and for the satisfaction of other people. But it just so happens that I also get the same amount of satisfaction from it. I know they love when I release music. They love when I just post like bullshit like tweets, and I love doing it too. So I'm doing it for both of us, and I do things to make my fan base happy, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who I am a kind of safe haven for them, or I'm a place where they can find peace or sanctity. So I definitely, on one end of the sword, do kind of not pander to them, but I definitely do what I do for them, because they do so much for me. Sure. But on the other token, I do all of this for myself, and they're just along for the ride.
Authenticity, though, like people are attracted to people that are authentic in the way that we need it to be. And so you being yourself is what is helping the other people.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
And the second you stop that and try to almost like, oh, I think they want this from me, and I think that's when that shit start breaking down. It's like, no, I'm trying to survive day by day,
and they know
hour
that
by
too.
hour,
and they know that, because I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah,
I definitely will be like, y'all, I'm getting this music done, but just know that this shit has not been fun right now. So I'm still going to do it, but just know at the moment I'm not having fun doing it.
Corella and I were having a conversation about your music, and we were both just in agreement that we were so excited to hear what you have to put out there, just because we know that your voice is so authentic, and it's going to come off, whatever it is that you are planning. It's going to be to the level that you have executed everything else. So we have nothing but high expectations, realistic expectations, I'd say. Realistic expectations.
And plus, you grew up with like musical theater and things like that. It's not like, oh, I'm a drag queen. Now the next thing I need to do is put out a single. It's like, no, I wanted to do music.
I'm so
like,
curious.
That's why I enjoy it. No tea, no shade, but all the tea and shade. But,
I think that
you can tell the difference.
Oh, you definitely can tell, and I've talked about that online as well. But it's like, I think that before, I've released music like in the past, but I think that I was releasing music as a drag queen. I think that now I'm releasing music as a musician, or I'm
Yes.
releasing music as like a pop star,
artist.
not just as like a drag queen who is making music. I'm a musical artist who is a drag queen. Like Pablo
Yes.
Vittar, like Gloria Groove, you know? Which is like, it's interesting. And I love this about Brazil. I cannot wait to go there one day because they're just like, seems like the best people in the world. But I love how they are have been so accepting of drag queens who make music breaking into the mainstream. Like Pablo Vittar was just performing with Madonna on her record breaking, like attended like tour finishing
That was outside
performance. People, the Brazilians love their artists so much.
They do.
And like
They
push them and back them as if they were like Beyonce or if they were like any other singer. Like they don't see them as some like drag queen novelty or they're just a drag queen making music. They're a musician. They make good music. They like the music. They're going to push them. I don't know what it is about Americans that won't let this happen.
We're spoiled.
Where should we start?
Right.
There's a couple things. And I think it's very interesting how and I did tweet about this and people thought that I was coming at her. I fucking love Chappell Roan, okay? But I think that and this was not a dig at her at all. It was more of a dig on the consumer as to why is she openly allowed to be like, I'm a singer who is very influenced by drag and people love that. But when a drag queen wants to make music and say, I am very influenced by pop singers, then it's not taken as serious as them being like wanting to actually be a musical artist. And I do think that
9 times out of 10 is trash.
A big
music.
hand in it is because drag queens are not making good music.
See, that's exactly it.
We see each other. See?
But there are some girls who are making really good music.
Very
like
good music.
Adore Delano's, like all of her music, amazing. Courtney Act.
I like Shay's music.
Courtney Act, perfect. Shea Coulee, amazing.
Phenomenal.
Monet Exchange, amazing. Even Alaska, even
I like Mo's music too.
Yes.
Mo's music is really good too. Even Alaska, someone who is very, and Willem, who are two people who are very like, I'm making like kitschy drag queen music. Their music is actually like, they are very musically inclined and they enjoy making music not for the cash grab of it or it's kind of just like another piece of merch.
But
which I've heard people say
there's also
to my face that, it's kind of just like another piece of merch, you know?
Yeah. But the queens that you just mentioned also have a certain level of intellectuality about them that comes out. I mean, you watch, the show with Alaska and Willem and the dialogue that they're having with each other. Yes, it's quick-witted and it's fun and da-da-da-da-da, but there's a certain level of intellectualism that comes out that not a lot of people possess. And that also comes out in their music. So there's a certain level of intentionality. If it's going to be tongue in cheek and it's going to be drag music, it's going to be drag music, but it's also going to be like really fucking smart and really fucking good.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people can do that.
And there's some people who just, slap their name on a song and it's like,
Right. It's like the drag queen template. It's like, girl, okay, we're gonna step 2C. It's like, no ho, no, break that template up. But before we get into Curiosity though, like obviously we have a huge election coming up right now this year in November, and just we have a lot of folks. Generationally, this is probably like their first time voting and things like that. So for us, we call ourselves the old queens. We've voted a few times.
The old queens.
Well, I'm not old. I'm just in my daddy era. That's all it is right now. But we also know that like the like Project 2025 and things like that. So I'm curious from your perspective, like being of a younger generation. Are folks around your age taking it seriously? Do they know the repercussions? Do they not? I'm always kind of curious because there's something maybe being younger that even I think back when I was younger, I was like, I kind of knew, but I was like, okay, it'll be all right. But it's like as you get older, you're like, shit, hold on. Like I don't want these hoes the rest of my life.
I think that it is. I'm going to try to say this without like people trying to cut my head off. I think that people are trying to be rebellious. And I think that people are trying to be like start like a revolution, I don't think that we have the time or the there's a lot on the line for us. I don't think this is the election where we have to try to want to be like anarchists and like try to be like, we're going to try to vote in a third party, or we're going to try to do all these things because yes, they're both horrible and they're both evil, but there is definitely one who is a lot more evil than the other.
Well, and convicted.
And a convicted felon. So it's like
this is not speculation. This is not a mischaracterization.
No, like
these are facts.
Categorically a criminal, and not like he's a criminal. Period. And I think that people like think, yes, Joe Biden is old. He can barely get a sentence out. The other man is a criminal. It's like,
and he old too. He's 2 days
he's
younger.
Old too. It's like I think that people just see the presidents as the problem, where it's like if we vote Biden into office, there is a lot larger chance that the trickle down effect into the other branches of office will benefit us more than the actual president, who does not really have much say in the country, will do, rather voting for Donald Trump or voting for a third party, which those votes will just go to, it's like that trickle down effect is going to be a lot worse than just voting for Biden to keep everything besides Biden in the safe zone, you know?
Yeah. But we also see the effects of Trump, though, right? Like, we just watched, we just watched England and France, who beforehand, everything was trending very far right. And then luckily when it came out to elections, they got that shit together. But that's, again, a repercussion of when you put someone like Trump back in office, the effect he has on the world.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
The whole world's watching.
The whole world is watching.
I think that he gives people the license to feel like they can do whatever they want because, the largest man in power does whatever he wants, so I'm going to do whatever I want. It's like, I think that the kind of like mental hold that Donald Trump has on people, it's something that I've never really seen before. I've only been here 24 years, but even through history, I don't think that there has been a bigger dictator than Donald Trump. That's a word. He has like changed the skew of so many different people in the world. Even if they're not a Trump supporter, they support the ideals that Trump and his party also support. And they just mask it as, these are my views, where it's like, you are not viewing these things this way during the Obama administration, or when like I just think that people need to wake up and realize that yes, I would love to have like a democracy-free country where we can just kind of all do whatever we want, everything will be perfect. But when we have these two people that we have to choose from, I do not think the smart thing to do is to try and vote a third party in when these two, like Donald Trump is not, a third party is not powerful enough to defeat Donald Trump.
It's the math alone. The math alone
some
isn't
random person
to...
that we're going to try to elect into office over Joe Biden is not going to be powerful enough to defeat
and we already
Donald
saw
Trump.
it happen in 2015.
It's crazy how I'm talking about him like he's like the final boss in like a video game or something. Really but that's literally how I see him. I see him as like a cartoon villain. Yeah. I don't think he's such like a
cartoon in real life.
No, he is like Eric Cartman.
He's like a clown, maybe a bicycle hoe.
Yeah. Very like
no, that's interesting though, that perspective, like the rebellion piece, which I can kind of see. But this, like you said, this ain't the election to do it. Wait
everybody
4 more
wants
years,
to be the like, look at me, I'm like, standing up for something different, and I'm gonna be like a riot person, and I'm gonna like, which like rioting is fine. Like tear some shit up. Tear some shit up. I don't care, baby. It's not my money. Well, it kind of is because I do pay my taxes, so it kind of is my money. So like, let's not do too much. But I think that people just have this mentality of like, I'm gonna be defiant.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Well, also, too, I think people are exhausted, and I get being exhausted. But what you said, Luxx, earlier, like, now is not the time to be exhausted.
Not the time.
Because this could be the last time. Like,
yeah, you
and
can
it's-
do
and
that.
that-
We'll
and so
show
many
you
people,
exhausted.
and some people are saying that, oh, that's dramatic. You're being dramatic, but they have
No, it's
openly
the-
came out and said,
It's
we
like,
coming for all of
is the
y'all.
plan.
Because
It's the
and the
truth.
reason why is because they know the numbers. They know that if they
Yeah.
don't stop this shit now, they will be the less than percentage, and they will
It's
never have the numbers going forward. So now is the time for them right now to try to silence as many of us as they can, because they're not. It's no longer trending in their favor. The numbers are simply not anymore, and they are now
Yeah.
grasping for straws to stay
And putting
in power.
laws.
And
It's
laws.
it's like they need to. This is the smart thing to do. Okay, as someone who is a master strategist, as I like to say myself, if you want to really make a big change in something, you have to knock down the big thing to get to the small thing. You have to like push your way. You have to. There's more than enough of us to get Trump, which is the big problem, out of the way. Then we can focus on the little problem, which I guess would be Joe
Yes.
Biden in this case.
Right.
But if y'all want to defeat little old Joe Biden, y'all have to get Donald Trump out of the way.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Like
right.
the
That's a
whole
good way to
conversation
say that.
about like Joe needs to step down. Let's have that conversation after we know that he's the
After.
president.
After.
After. Okay. After. Because we also know, like Carell said earlier in 2016, they weren't voting for the most decorated white woman in political history. What you think they gonna vote for a black woman on top of that? Y'all playing.
A whole world.
Y'all playing.
Yeah, no.
Y'all playing.
Just
Y'all
let-
playing. No.
There's tons of
No.
there's probably more people that there are more people than we think who are in support of Biden being president.
Mhm.
I just think that we need to, as a collective country and collective queer people and women and people whose rights are literally, they're telling us that you're donezo.
Yep.
I think that we need to vote for the person who maybe is not saying that our rights are going to be donezo, who also has a political backing and people who already voted for them because they won an election already.
Right.
It's
Girl,
like,
live to see another day.
I don't know why people, I don't think it's that hard.
No,
I really
it's
think
not.
that people like to overcomplicate things because I think that people are addicted to stress. I am also someone who's addicted to stress. And I think that
You watch
people-
reality TV?
I do. I was on it.
That looked
I was
like
on it.
She said, "Oh, I was on it."
I was on it. But I think that people are addicted to anxiety. I think that people are addicted to stress. And I think that this whole situation just gives people something to be stressed about, or it gives people
you're right.
something to be bent out of shape about. And I'm telling you all, life will be so much simpler if we literally just vote for Joe Biden.
Mhm.
I will, and I don't care. Like, that's just to me the most obvious choice. Like, yeah, he's shitty. All politicians are. Obama was not perfect.
No.
So
No.
it's like, but he was better.
Look,
And he
Then the opposing
has to create a
person.
whole pamphlet saying, "I'm taking away all your rights."
Yeah, literally. It's like, I think that seeing this Project 2025 thing would be a blatant, like, okay, no, like, we have to, like, not just literally do not vote for him, but we have to vote. I also think that whole concept that people are saying, oh, well, like, I'm just not going to vote because I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils. You're voting for the lesser of two evils. You're not just voting against two people who are equally as evil.
No.
yeah.
You know?
Look.
Someone's always going to be worse than the next person. It's true.
And he's already shown, oh boy,
So
the worst of all time.
Yeah, I
So,
just think that people need to put on their thinking caps, and young people
yes.
my age need to put on their thinking caps, and I feel like I can't even say it, but everything is not some big like cause for revolution or political rebellion. Just vote for the old guy, please. Like we don't need him to talk. We do not need him to talk. I'm sorry.
Don't.
He doesn't, like, in the grand
He don't
scheme
got
of
to.
American politics, he does not have a voice. You know, it's like we kind of just need him to be the figurehead and all the people
That's
who
it.
are behind him to be in power. I don't care
That's
about
it.
Joe Biden. I care about all the other people who are making the actual laws go into effect. I mean, I care about Joe Biden, but like, he's not the person we not think he's worried
motherfucking
about.
factor.
Yeah.
But right now, motherfucker.
Like, he is just the spokesperson. He's just like the face of Pepsi. He's not making Pepsi.
You're right.
America is Pepsi Cola, and Donald Trump is Britney Spears. I mean, and Joe Biden would be the Britney Spears of like.
Yeah. Oh, I was like,
she's the figurehead for Pepsi.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
But she's not in the lab like making Pepsi.
Right.
Facts.
No.
She's just
all
selling
right.
Pepsi.
So before we get you out of here, we have a segment called Curiosity. So we want you to let it all hang out. You know, you just had to do a little pun there. You know, just a little Luxx pun there. Yeah. So the first one is Versace or Mugler.
Oh my God! I like to say that Luxx would be like a Mugler woman and like a 2000s Versace. Like those are my two. I can't choose between the two, and I won't, because that's my right as an American.
We won't fuck that bag up. But Luxx wants both campaigns.
No, as someone who owns Mugler and owns Versace, I don't know. I guess I would say, I think Mugler has had a bigger impact on the conception of Luxx. Like Luxx is more of a Mugler woman than a Versace woman, but I love the two very equally.
Okay. DragCon LA or DragCon UK?
DragCon LA.
Okay.
I just am not a huge fan of the United Kingdom. It's kind of cold. Like, and especially in January, it's freezing. I do not like the cold. I love it hot. And I am not particularly fond of the food. But the people are nice. Also, like, from like a business standpoint, the cost of like getting everything shipped overseas and like handling with like dealing with money, like I had to take everything in like cash or PayPal, which setting up PayPal was like very weird, and like currency exchange and stuff. Staying in America and just having to fly 6 hours is a lot easier for me.
I get that.
Facts.
I get that. Jada Essence Hall or Naomi Smalls?
Naomi Smalls.
Okay.
It'll always be Naomi Smalls.
Yeah. I mean, I love me some Naomi. DJing or singing?
As someone who just recently started DJing, I've been singing. Singing brings me a lot more joy than DJing does, but I don't know. Maybe now the two will be going a lot more hand in hand.
There we go. 40 inches or 8 inches?
40. 40 inches for sure. There's a man cannot bring me more satisfaction than hair can.
Oh, she said, I want to look a nice bust down, bitch. Come on,
honey.
It gets me going.
Because you know us aunties, we love us a good hair moment too. But I don't know, I might take the 8 inches up.
And the
Why
4
not
inches.
both?
Right.
Why not
With
both?
the 40 inches on.
I think you can have both. What if Vanity 6 say I need 7 inches or more?
That. Come on, Vanity 6.
Okay, but not me. It is what it is.
Yeah, I get it.
I take what I can get.
Hey, what's your guilty pleasure TV show right now?
Guilty pleasure TV show. I'm not watching a lot of TV. I only watch Drag Race, but I guess my guilty pleasure would be like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm watching that right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I watch a lot of like YouTube videos. So I guess like my guilty pleasure YouTube channel would be like, I don't know. I don't even think it's like a guilty pleasure. I'm not guilty about any of the things that bring me pleasure.
What's pleasure?
I know that's
what pleasure? I know that's right, because that's how I'll be. I'll be like, if I like it, I like it.
If I like it, I like it.
Yeah. And I did this to myself.
Boo.
Hey.
I turned it on.
Okay. And me on.
Do you Do you prefer RuPaul's Drag Race, the regular seasons or the All-Star seasons?
It depends. Like I like an elimination season. I like the stakes.
Same.
But I like a regular season of Drag Race because they're new characters. And they're people who don't know how Drag Race works. And I enjoy watching that versus queens coming back and like doing it as if they know how it works. You know, you can definitely tell because people are a little more reserved, or they're a little more like on if they were not as on their first season. You know, I don't know. I kind of like a regular season of Drag Race.
It's a little more calculated, the All-Stars.
Yeah.
Okay. We do something here where we call Voltron, and we've done Drag Voltron a couple times here.
What does that
where we
word
want
mean?
you to pick.
You were about
So
to explain.
Voltron, so almost like a Megazord. Maybe that's better for Power Rangers. Like where it's like coming, like different pieces coming together. Okay, so what's another analogy? Just different pieces.
You're
coming
building a
together
robot.
to form
Girl, you're building
the
a robot.
the ultimate version of a drag queen. So
Oh,
outside
okay.
of yourself and RuPaul, who would you want to be in charge of the makeup?
Oh, okay. I'm building a drag queen. The makeup is either Raven. I'm sorry. Like Raven to me is always going to be the mug.
Yeah.
Or no, Miss Fame. Fame is Raven and Miss Fame are my two favorite like drag queen mugs of all time.
Okay.
They've influenced so many eyes in the
everybody.
drag space.
Like they're like I would say Raven, Miss Fame, Pearl, and Naomi Smalls. Those are the four horsemen of drag face.
Okay.
Past, I mean present and future. Like like and Aquaria. Like they have some.
Oh, see now you get we said one and now you have five.
Okay, but yeah, I would say Miss
Shay?
Fame.
We didn't throw Shay in there as well. Like damn.
I would say Miss Fame.
I love Shay. I know. I love Shay's face.
Shay's face is like remarkable, but I think that too many people dare not to try and recreate that.
It works. No, you're right.
You know, I think Shay's face is so unique to Shay. I think that you would be obviously wearing Shay's face. Where I feel like Raven or Miss Fame, they've taken the drag queen face and molded it into something that is so refined and so like still holding those traditional like drag shapes and drag elements, but tailoring it to a way that's like so like beyond this planet gorgeous.
I mean, shit, RuPaul still got Raven all these seasons now. Like
that is
RuPaul
true.
ain't gonna let everybody touch her face. So
that is true. Listen, that's the top one for me.
Who's in charge of the hair?
Drag queen doing hair. Styling hair. Delta Work was doing RuPaul's hair for a little bit. But who is a good hairstylist that is a drag queen?
Or even like the drag hairstyle that they just have that's so iconic. You're like, okay, that's gonna make that drag queen pop because of their hair.
I guess I would say Delta because she was doing Rue, and Rue's hair is always to the tens. I don't know too many other drag queens who are like famous who do hair. I guess, or Mistress. Mistress does good hair. Malaysia also does hair too. So I would. Ooh, Serena Cha Cha.
See, now they're coming out to mine.
Oh no, because now I'm just being messy. But yeah, I would say Delta Work.
Okay. Who's in charge of the outfit? Whose aesthetic do you just love that you're like, I'm putting that on my drag queen?
Oh wait, okay, no. I think I want to go back to hair then, and I would say, because I think what you're getting at is that the person does not necessarily have to do hair.
To be making their own wigs. No.
Okay. So then
whose hair game is like top tier.
Yeah. Naomi's hair is always really good, but Willem has really good hair. So I think we're gonna go with Willem.
Okay. And then who's outfits?
But got Mick too. Okay. Because Jean Baptiste does her hair. I'm gonna say Willem because Willem has the supply.
Okay. The drip, the outfits, the aesthetic.
This is a tough one for me because this is like what I really look at. I would say either like Violet or I would say Shay or Naomi. But Aquaria too. There's just too many. I have too many faves. I'm like such a Drag Race super fan. Like
I know you are.
And I can't say myself. So
nope.
Actually, Miss Fame. She's kind of it for me. I love her.
There we go. No, Miss Fame was dope. Performance style. Who's just gonna kill it? Oh,
hesitation.
Kenny Davenport. Right. I think Kenny Davenport is the best performer that's ever been on Drag Race. Period. Hands down. Kenny Davenport is the one.
Like I can't think of anyone to trump that. Like off the top.
There's nobody beating Kenny Davenport.
She can perform to anything.
She can perform to anything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be tricks either. Like she doesn't have to pull out the tricks. The way that she
has a demand of stage. I've seen Kenny
do a ballad before. It brought the house down. Never in person, but I saw videos. Or I would even say, from like the complete opposite of Kenny Davenport, I would say Raven. I think that
Really?
if you go back and watch the videos
just
of
thinking
Raven
now.
at Mickey's from like the 2000s, I
Yeah.
can sit there and watch Raven perform. Raven just has this thing in her eyes and this intensity
I
in
agree
her
with that statement.
performance that I can just watch her all day. I love
I'm
Raven.
just trying to think day in, day out, would I want Raven over Kennedy? I don't
No,
know.
it's Kennedy.
But I agree.
But I would,
Yeah.
if I gave two polar opposites of a type
Yeah.
of queen, a queen
I
who
get you on
really
that.
moves and a queen who does not move at all, I think that Raven and Kennedy Davenport are the two opposites that are to me like amazing.
Stellar.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the business acumen. Who's just gonna be like, damn, the way they have this blown
Trixie
up, their
Mattel.
money.
Trixie Mattel is, I think that Trixie Mattel is the next most successful drag queen to RuPaul.
She might be.
I think she is. Like Trixie, it's Trixie Mattel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's anybody who I would want to take like a note out of their like business book from besides RuPaul, it's Trixie Mattel.
Yeah. Yeah. Who is, and okay, that's your drag Voltron, but who's your Rushmore then? Who's your four that, like, it doesn't matter about all the stuff we just said now. Who's your four, and we'll take RuPaul because RuPaul's just mother. Who are your four outside of RuPaul that is just like the epitome of drag?
Alaska, Naomi Smalls. I'm going through like literally every person in every season. Raja Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
And who's gonna be my fourth one? That would be me.
Oh, yeah. I know that's right.
If you can't put
yourself
yourself
up
with
there,
the best, it's
then
like
I'm
sure there's.
Then why you
It's
there?
like, yeah, I'd
If
say
we
that.
can't go to Bella Noche, then where the fuck we
Where
gonna
do
go?
you go? I'm on my personal drag Mount Rushmore. I'm my
Yes.
biggest fan.
As you
I
should
think I'm
be.
the best thing since sliced bread.
I know that's right. Yo.
I don't, and I think that's what keeps me grounded is that I know that I'm not the best. But it's the mentality of being the best, but also knowing that like there are people who are better than you in the world. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the drive to keep working though, to evolve and grow. Like
It gives you something to like strive for.
1,000. Would you do All Stars in the future?
Yes.
Because I know
think
losing
would.
your season kind of crushed you. So would you do it? Put yourself in that again?
It didn't. I hate that because I know what you're talking about. I hate that I kind of worded it that way because it did not like crush me the way that people think it did. It just sucked losing. I hated that I lost because I really wanted to win.
You're a competitor.
I'm competitive. It's what I am. At the end of the day, like everything in life is competitive to me. You're always in competition with somebody, whether it's your peer or yourself. You're in competition with something, or like the odds that be. Like you're in competition with getting hit by a car versus not getting hit by a car. You're competing with that car for it to not kill you.
Come on, Frogger.
Okay, Frogger.
Yep, Frogger.
Right.
But very crossy roads he is. But I would go back. I love competing and I love seeing RuPaul and I love wearing nice clothes and I like being on TV. However, I think that recently I've been having this feeling of wanting to not. I'm trying to say this without a way that's going to make people think that I like don't want to like.
She want to go on. Don't
to
fuck
be
up that
like
bag.
a drag race girl or ever go back on Drag Race or something. I think that at the moment I'm very focused on being a person outside of the sphere of Drag Race. I am forever indebted to RuPaul's Drag Race and everything that they've given me. I love them so much. 100% have nothing bad to say about being on Drag Race. The greatest experience of my life, hands down. And I'm not even just saying that to blow smoke up their ass. Genuinely was. I just think that at the moment I'm trying to figure out my life and my being outside of being a fixture in not RuPaul's Drag Race, but the Drag Race sphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is the Drag Race fandom, people's perception of me based only on what they saw of me on Drag Race. I think that I'm trying to broaden the scope of people who see who I am and what I do now.
Yeah.
There's surprisingly so many people who them seeing me on April 14th or 15th, 2023, that's the last time they saw me. And when they see me again, their idea of me is just literally what they saw on the TV show. There's a lot of people who know who I am or will know who the girls are and just do not follow them on social media or keep up with them after the show. So I'm working on strategizing how to break into the mainstream. I want my drag to be mainstream. I'm not one of these people who are like, oh, drag is supposed to be like the underground. No, baby, I'm trying to be at the Grammys. Like, I don't know. Like I'm trying to be like I'm trying to be like a Megazoid superstar who is like unattainable to the average drag fan.
She's like, I don't want y'all to see me at the Kroger. You ain't gonna see me at the ShopRite.
I want my fan base to grow past the people who watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody who is trying to have a career that has longevity knows that you cannot just stay stagnant with one group of people supporting you. Because what happens when Drag Race gets canceled, which I hope doesn't happen anytime soon, but RuPaul's Drag Race gets canceled and now everybody's fan base is gone because nobody cares about Drag Race anymore. It's like I think that part of the thing that keeps all of us relevant is the fact that Drag Race is still a machine that's moving and growing. So when people see Drag Race, there's a lot of people who watched my season of Drag Race for the first time. That was their first time ever watching Drag Race. So I think that as Drag Race keeps growing, people are learning, and then people are going back and watching the other seasons. So they're learning about everybody. And I don't want my success to be reliant on the machine of the Drag Race fandom. I am going to dominate like the world, you know.
Please do.
I don't want to just be some
like
random like drag queen who was on Drag Race who was like kind of gay famous.
Be like, what happened to that hoe?
That's not going to be my narrative. I'm sorry. I would do everything to prevent that from being my narrative. But again, nothing against Drag Race. Nothing against Drag Race. I would love to come back. But seriously, I don't know.
Seriously. No, absolutely. It makes sense. Because I'm like, look at RuPaul. Like you said, she's the template. RuPaul did everything and does everything.
Yeah,
and it's not just Drag Race.
Yeah, people don't know what Drag Race is, but they know who RuPaul is.
That part of it.
I want people to know who I am, but not have ever seen an episode of Drag Race in their life.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or know what a drag queen is. They're just going to be like, oh, I know Luxx.
Yeah.
Like, she does drag. I didn't know drag was a thing.
Like, she was on Drag Race? What was that?
Is that a car?
It'll be like when people were like, oh my God, I didn't know Lady Gaga was on an episode of that like weird dating show on MTV before she was famous. That's kind of how I want it to be. Or like she was on an episode of The Sopranos. Except I was a runner-up on the largest television show in history.
There you go now. I know that's right. So what's coming up? What else is coming up? I know you got the Love Ball coming up here.
Yes,
you got
the
a couple
Love
other
Ball
events.
LA. I will be there. I am working on music. There's an album. I'm working on a couple other things. And I'm just working on a lot, and I can't wait for you all to see them and hear them and touch them and smell them and taste them. Luxx Noir London is a full sensory experience that everybody is going to not be able to get away from.
Oh, so that sounds like some perfumes and everything too. I can't wait.
Perhaps. I love fragrance. It's my favorite part of drag. So I think that I would be absolutely stupid to not
go into that lane.
To not go into that lane of fragrance science. But
I know that's right.
Yeah, there's other like scientific like things that I like am working on, and chemicals and things.
Well, we will be on the lookout for it. And just know you always have a home to come back to here as well. Whenever you want to talk about whatever, be like, hey, aunties, I got something to say.
I had so much fun talking to you.
We're so like honored to have you come on. And literally, when we saw you at that Curiositea event, we're like, oh, hold on, we tripping. We gotta get her on ASAP.
It happened. Everything in life is happenstance.
Yes, 1,000%.
Everything happens because something else happens. So I'm sure that this happening will be the catalyst for other things to happen as well.
Absolutely. So we adore you. Keep your head up. We love seeing folks.
I have big shoulders, so it's going to be hard to let my head fall.
And we can't wait for that music to come out.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. I might send you a little.
Just a little
I might send you the song so you can hear the demo.
Okay, I would love that. I think that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. So our community, you're going to have to wait.
Look.
Yeah. Everybody, you'll hear it soon enough. I feel like I wasn't supposed to say that, but whatever.
That's okay.
Nobody's telling me. Listen, I'm in charge of all this. Okay,
I know that's right.
You're the creator.
I'm the captain of this.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain
of this. I'm the captain of this ship. You know. But I also clocked the reference. So, yeah.
Yes. Well, Dewan, Jarrell, anything else on your mind?
No, it was just a pleasure to have you on here, and I honestly like the rest of them. I can't wait. Honestly, can't wait to just see. You referenced something earlier about like, you know, putting in the work and just kind of watching, you know, like seeing things grow. Like I just see it, and I just can't wait to be like, you just sit there like,
girl.
Right. That's our girl. Like,
That's our girl.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's just so wild how one conversation can literally just change everything in your life.
Yeah,
and that happened for me.
Yeah.
Which I'm very grateful, and now I'm seeing the fruits of everything kind of come to fruition, and it kind of feels like everything is changing in front of my eyes again for the better. Again.
I love that for you.
And it's deserved. Yep.
Thank
100%.
you.
Yep. Deserved. Well deserved.
Absolutely. Well, community, hopefully you're safe out there. Stay cool.
Please.
And
don't wear furs in the heat like Junior. Unless you're glamorous, then do what you
Unless
want.
you're glamorous, exactly. I'm glamorous when it's cold out.
Honestly. And when it's cold, I feel like I'm like, oh, I don't want to wear anything.
I'm like, woo. Well, community, wash your hands, your legs, and your ass. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye,
y'all.